Ladies, how are you all?
Hi, God.
We made it.
We made it,
Made
yeah,
it.
yeah. After this whole process of getting this program organized, but we made it. We made it. You know, and Anna, you cracking me up, girl. You talking about you just like how you're looking, and I agree. You look fabulous. So, ladies, we're dealing today with happiness. You know, what makes us happy as a individual? What makes us happy?
Right. That's a loaded question. For me, like happiness is just sometimes just to be able to hear a little soca music in my house and start a wine. And I honestly feel so good. I'm like, oh God. Yeah, like this Marshall Montano song, Happiest Man Alive. My mom, that was like her favorite song. She used to love that song. So
Mhm.
anytime, and she's passed now. So anytime I hear that song and I dance to that song, I don't feel sad. I literally feel that's like a happy moment for me, you know?
Mhm.
The music. Yeah.
For me, happiness, I always feel that I need to be optimizing and maximizing every situation. I'm in the gym and I'm working out hard. I'm hanging out with my friends, we joking, hanging out and having a good time. I'm working, I'm maximizing that effort. For me, being happy is about maximizing every moment and living your best life. It sounds cliche, but that's just me. I just like to be on my optimum, maybe on steroids kind of thing.
No, for me, it's enjoying every moment, but doing whatever I'm doing, enjoying the moment. If I'm with, like, with my friends, if I'm by myself, if I'm playing with my dog, it's about enjoying the moments that I have with me, you know,
And
and looking for the fun in it. I mean, we have so much memories. We had so much fun times that
yeah.
sometimes you just think about something and you're just laughing. I remember things that Delia and I did years and years and years ago, and I'll be laughing like it just
Why is
happened.
she always calling my name in her back of the eye?
Because it's your name, I have to call. It's your name, I have to call your name.
Oh Lord.
Call my
Right?
name.
So it's like, and what it is I do, I noticed, Sharon, we
Mhm.
hardly ever remember the sad times. We always remember the happy times. For these, when you think back at a sad time, you think, what does this happen again? You're not too sure about the details.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
when you're happy or you had a happy, a happy moment, it just comes to you and you'll be
Yeah.
smiling for those things for years and years. I love that.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
As I was talking about your mom, dear, I remember my niece daughter. Her favorite word, she's a year and a couple of months, but her favorite word is happy. So she came to the house sometime, and she came and, she's in the front porch, and she's only saying happy, happy. And she stood there for a while until she felt comfortable enough to come into the house. And I'm saying this is a child who's a year old, a little over a year old. But in her own words, she can say happy. She something about the environment made her happy, and she could identify that,
Yeah.
that feeling of that
Mhm.
feel good moment, happiness. But
Yeah.
for me, so many things make me happy. One of them is just life in itself. The fact that I'm alive and I'm in good health. That really makes me happy because when I look around, I was mentioned to you, Dealer, this week that somebody we knew, little older than us, and her life came to an end. And when I think about waking up every morning, hearing the birds, seeing the trees, getting some sunlight, those are things that really makes me happy. It's simple things, but it brings happiness to me because can I can live in that moment and enjoy what nature has to offer, you know?
You know, Sharon, hearing you talk, I am thinking, how can we avoid people who are kill or situations that are killjoys, that wants to destroy your happiness, that wants to out your light? I always say that. You want to out my light. I stay far from you. It's those things that prevent you from being happy, and you know, just staying away from drama and people who create drama and people who, once they give a red, once you see something that's a red flag, you need to stay away from those things, because when you stay away from those things suck up the air the drama suck up the air to your happiness and your eternal flame. I don't know, it sounds kind of weird, but
And I agree. I agree because one of the things as we get older, we realize we are we are so limited by time that it's important for us to somehow sift out the negative energy, as I said, needing, because we spend so much times, if you're not careful, dealing with the drama. It takes away us living our best life, and it
yes.
is important to realize if something is not working for you, let it go. And
Mm-hmm.
we have to guard ourselves so much that, and I'm at this stage now where I want to live a happy life. I want to enjoy my time that I have here. And if someone is not bringing me situations or things that will be in line with what I want as a person, I have found it easier to just not even have a drama with the person. Just let
Yeah,
it go.
But
Just let it
that's
go.
a that's a slippery slope though, because
yeah,
it presupposes that my happiness is dependent on this external variable, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think when you look into any kind of um, when they talk about happiness, right? A lot of times people talk about it being a decision, right? Because being happy, it doesn't mean that your life is perfect and everything is how it's supposed to be and all of that good stuff. It's the ability to go through life and go through negative situations and be grounded in something else other than the external stuff that is going on, right? And that is where that happiness comes from. And
mm,
actually, more it's like a joy that no matter
yes.
what, because
Yeah,
you're going through.
Delia, I actually had an experience. I actually had an experience about 2 weeks ago.
Uh-huh.
What Delia is saying. So I'm having, well, I'm not having an argument. Somebody's having an argument with me. And I was in my head, I'm singing a song and I'm thinking to myself, but there's an argument going on, Anna. You're not paying attention to the argument. But I was so happy that, and this person is ranting and raving, and I'm like, okay, but the
Then,
song in my heart, the song in my head is just getting louder and louder and louder. And when it was done, it was like, wow. So I understand where you're in a frame of mind that you're happy. There's a joy in you that nobody on the outside could interfere with. They could try,
yeah,
but once that is there, you're grounded in your joy. Nobody can.
yeah,
It's not working.
yeah.
Yeah,
You literally have to do things to practice.
yeah,
Because I feel like
Yeah.
when we become adults and we get caught up in the kids and the mortgage and the this that we are so busy like doing stuff that we forget to
mm,
take time to practice being in joy,
Yes.
yeah,
practice
yeah.
being happy. And I think the practice is like having fun moments, you know,
Yeah.
having fun. That's why people love to dance because there's something about
Yeah.
dancing that just releases
Mm,
people's
Yeah, I
energy.
Even
understand.
singing and
Yeah,
singing as well.
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
singing
Yeah.
works.
But it's happiness is really a skill that we, like you said, Dila, it's a skill that we always have to work on. It's not something because we are humans and we have so many feelings and they change so rapidly. It's something we have to constantly work on. It's not something you did it today and it's done forever. It's a constant work, you know. But
I und- I understand what you all are saying about having that inner joy, and it's something that you have to cultivate through meditation and zoning out and the external forces. But you know, although let's say that you're generally not a happy person, because there are people who don't have that inner joy, and that's what we're trying to get to harness that inner joy. But I really feel, although Delia, you said that those are external factors, I still feel external factors play a part in your overall happiness. But I understand what you're saying, that you're supposed to be in, things could be falling down around you, and you should be positive and be in a positive mode and be happy. But sometimes the external factors, and that is what I was saying before, and that's what you were saying, Sharon, you need to sometimes block out these things to maintain your own inner happiness and sanity, especially when the things that are going on around you don't add value to your life. You
Right.
have to
Definitely.
cut out these
And
things
that's
that are
key.
not adding value.
The key is being able to figure out
Mhm.
the things that I have to deal with, even though
Yes.
they're unpleasant.
Mhm.
I, because of whatever situation, I still have to deal with this or deal with this person, and that can, and things that you don't have to. That's not really going
Mhm.
to affect your life in any which way. Yeah, you
Mhm.
can cut those off because they don't really add. But sometimes the joy comes through going through the struggle with the person. You understand? And getting to the other side of
Yes.
the journey. So it's
Yeah.
always, it's never something across the board, right? It's always
Mhm.
looking at particular situations and your particular style of how you show up
How
and
you cope.
figuring out what is the best approach to the
Mhm.
situation. But like I said, it's a choice. It's a simple thing where you say, you know what, today I choose to be happy. Just that
Yes.
simple thing you can say in the morning. And as your day goes on and you face all these external stuff, I
Mhm.
choose to be happy. You go ahead and you deal with whatever, and you choose to be happy. You're dealing with something unpleasant,
Yeah.
but you're still happy.
Delia, as you said that, when you encounter people, sometimes you encounter people and they're just genuinely happy. You could tell that person don't have much. You could tell the person, somebody else is wealthier, but that person have that shine and they're just happy. Some people just have that inner happiness and peace that no matter what is going on, and you encounter those people and they inspire you. I need to be doing what that person doing. Maybe I should get advice from them.
Exactly.
There's what in me. What is it that you are doing that you're just emanating this happiness, this glow?
You know what, there's two ladies. Me, the fact I have a relationship with God, and I know He made a promise to me to take care of all my needs. The money may not be there, the health may not be in perfect state, but I know that God walking with me, or I'm walking with Him, He will take care of my needs. So that allows me to go through situations, but still be happy, even though it might be adverse situations.
Mm-hmm.
I think that works for me really well.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I
I
hear you.
think
But I
two
think also
people.
too, Sharon, we have to. Not everyone has that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And even there are people who don't have that, but they're still happy. You
Yes.
Mhm.
understand? So
No,
there's
and that's why I said for
different,
me. That's why I said
That's
it.
what
That's why I
works
said
for
yeah,
for me.
there are
Sharon.
different
Yeah.
methodologies and different ways of being to get
Mhm.
happiness.
Mhm.
And that sometimes we think that. I remember I had this neighbor when I was growing up, right? And something went, her fridge broke. So we were like keeping her stuff for her, and she used to tell my mom, "Oh my God, I can't wait, 'cause, I can't wait to get this new refrigerator. I'll be so happy, right?"
Mhm.
And of
Mhm.
course, we know how that story, how that goes. So she got the refrigerator, and it's like she
She was
needed
still
something else.
unhappy.
She needed something else,
Uh-huh.
and
Wow.
that's the thing too of these external things deciding
Yes.
your happiness, right?
Yeah.
So that is something that we always have to be mindful because we always think, I mean, she's rich and oh, she's
Mhm.
beautiful. Like, why is she not happy? And you see some little old lady, with
Yeah.
one pair of shoes and 10 grandkids that she has to feed, and she has that seeming
Joy.
joy.
because
Yeah.
because happiness is a state of mind. It doesn't matter what is going around. The world could be going to hell in a handbasket. And if you are comfortable with who you are, if you are satisfied with where you are in life, whatever successes, whatever it means to you, then you're happy. And you find joy from the little things. You don't need
Yeah.
anything big to make you happy. So I know, Nadine, you were saying that there are people who are not um basically happy. I mean, they have to actually look for it. I can't tell you that I have met anybody like that, but because I think Trinidadians are basically very happy people. We can't
Yeah.
help ourselves. But you just have to be. It's in your mind. It's in your head. What are you telling yourself? You know?
Well, actually, Anna, for some people it is not that simple because there are people with medical chemical imbalances, which is actually in their brain and in their body, their chemical balances, which does not make them happy. Some people, they have to be, and it's a medical factor that they sometimes end up depressed. And you can't really say happiness is in your head because it's all about your hormonal balance, the chemical balances. Everything has to be in sync to actually have that inner joy as well. Because there are people who are depressed and they are clinically depressed, which means they have to take medication.
Well, besides those people who have to take medications, Nadine, I mean, it is happiness is a state of mind. To me, that's what I find.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I remember, let me tell you a serious, serious story. Years ago, when I was about 11 or 12, our house caught a fire.
Mhm.
And we were all at home. It was in the middle of the night. We were all at home, my mother, my father, everybody. And of course, we ran outside and we are watching our home burn to the ground. And I am looking at my mother. I remember this distinctly. I am looking at my mother,
Mhm.
and my mother is making jokes and she's having us laughing.
Because she
And I'm
got all
thinking to
y'all out the
myself,
fire.
and I'm telling myself, but her house is burning. She
Mhm.
has lost everything. And she looked at me like she knew what I was thinking. And she said to me, that's okay. We'll get a better house.
Yeah.
We'll get we'll get newer furnitures. And that stayed with me because even though she might have been in turmoil in her mind, in her heart, and everything, she was able to say to me as a child, don't
Yes.
worry about it. It's
Yes.
going to be okay.
And that's
And
why
from that
Anna.
moment, I
Mhm.
understand that happiness and what we look out on the outside, it's always about how
Mhm.
we feel, how what we have in here.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, I can't change my mind on that
No,
one.
but
And that is
Anna,
it, right? In the midst of
just
the
by
same.
you saying that your mother looked at you and said that, your mother was teaching you how to cope with situations and to be the eternal optimist and be happy. A lot of these things that we learn growing up on how to handle situations and emotions are taught by people who are around us. And just that lesson taught you how to be the eternal optimist. Anna,
Yeah, but
and I
I
see
think
What it
that so
says
much
to
in
her,
you.
I think
what
the
it
other
says to,
point is that at that point in time, her mother could have rolled on the ground and oh my God,
Yeah.
nobody would have said anything because
Mhm.
we would have understood. But she
Yeah.
made a decision
Mhm.
that, you know what? I am going to look at it from this particular perspective. So that is why I keep saying that a lot of happiness is dependent on the decisions that you make. Yes, we know there are external factors, right? Because it's more difficult, I think, to make the decision to be in a state of happiness if you don't have food, if you don't have clothing, if you don't have shelter. It's not impossible, but it's more difficult. And that is why,
Yeah.
in terms of a society and to
Mhm.
help people to actually help them to actualize, we need to make sure that people have the basics.
no, based on your experience, Anna, it just tells you again, it emphasizes the point where happiness is not the absence of adverse situations, but it's how we choose to respond to the, because situations will come up. This is life, but it's how we choose. We make a conscious decision as to how we choose to respond to adverse situation. And when you can go through something like what your mom went through, Anna, and still find something to laugh at. I had an aunt who was just like your mom, Anna. She will be sick to the point of death, and she will find some little something to find funny and giggle about it. And that's what is happening when you're happy on the inside, it flows on the outside. So yes, external situation causes us stress and everything, yes, but what's on the inside is what determines whether we are happy or not in some instances.
Definitely, definitely. But
Yeah.
that's how life flows, right? And we
Yes.
life flows from the inside out.
Out. Yeah.
What is inside of us, and that is why it is important that we seek to do practices, right? That helps to frame how we look at life. And that's why it's important to be self aware, to have emotional well being. That is critical in being happy, because if you're someone who is, you know, quick to anger and
Mhm.
frustration and all blah, 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 you know what I mean? It's going to be difficult for you to come to that place and that space where you can rest in yourself and rest in knowing that, you know what, I make a decision to be happy today, no matter what happens, you know?
And that's a good point, Delia, because that's one of the ways that how you create happiness. What about you, Nadine? How do you create happiness in your space, in your environment? What are some of the
Okay,
things you
for me, I'm very aware of my feelings and when I feel down because I have coped with depression that was actually medicated by two different doctors at different points in my life. So I'm very aware of being happy and what helps me be happy. Just little things like, as I said, to optimize everything, to go to the gym, to work out. Even if I'm feeling down, I know I have to go to the gym because when I go to the gym, it kickstart that oxytocin or those happiness vibes, and you kind of set aside the things that are bothering you a bit. And my art, when I channel a lot of my feelings in my art, and that really helps me express how I feel and harnesses that flow. And I always say, I would encounter people and they're literally, those people are unhappy and they try to out your light. And you have to kind of be aware of it and step away from situations and people who don't contribute to your happiness or who try to destroy your happiness. That's how I feel.
Yeah. How about you, Anna?
Like unlike Nadine, I am generally a happy person, and it's harder for me to get in a bad frame of mind or in a bad mood or sad for any long period of time.
Mhm.
So it could, if something happens now, I could probably go with it for like about 5 minutes and then I'll forget I'm supposed to be
Yeah.
sad and I'm happy. That's just, have always been like that. I've never questioned it. I've just enjoyed it,
Yes.
and I enjoy everything that I do. I enjoy reading. I
Right.
enjoy,
It's people
yeah,
like you,
everything.
Anna, that I would like to surround myself with because although, people who have emotional issues with happiness should never be around another dark cloud. You
Yeah.
should
Yeah.
always be with somebody who has light, who's bringing light. And they shine, they actually bring a different perspective. And another thing, when I think of perspective, when I'm down, I'm like, you have so much going for you. You have children, you healthy. There are people who are with so much less and they are content. And happiness also has to do with the ability to also be content with what you have. I am not saying not to be ambitious, not to want more, but you need to have a level of contentment to maintain your happiness or try to be happy. That's, you know.
Earlier, but I was asking if there are other things that you want to mention that you do to create happiness. If there are other ways that you want to still mention that you create your own
You know,
happiness.
I personally think I feel like if like Ada and Nadine were like two extremes, you know,
Because we are.
I'm always happy, and Nadine's like sad. But I feel things are going to come up in life, and you're going to be sad,
Yes.
Yeah.
you know. And I think you have to acknowledge at this moment, I am unhappy, I am sad, I am disappointed, I am devastated,
Mhm.
and my personal thing is that I allow myself 24 to 48 hours to be depressed. I give
Yeah.
myself time to be depressed and
And go
blame
snap out
everybody
of it, Delia. Snap out of it.
and all of that kind of shit. I do that, right? And then I say, okay, it's not the end of the world. And I go back into deciding to be happy, because I think you run the risk when you don't feel and allow yourself to feel how you're really feeling. It's almost like if you're lost and over stuff and you're not dealing with life, right?
Yeah.
And then you don't want to be too down all the time. Oh God, woe is me, my mother dead, my father killer. No, you know? So it's like having, I just think you need that balance to acknowledge a situation when it's negative. This is a negative situation. I feel a particular way about this. It makes me feel blah blah blah, and especially if it's serious. I'm not talking
Yeah.
about stupid stuff like somebody,
Yeah.
give me a bad drive or some kind of like something serious, right? Acknowledge that, feel it, feel the feelings, and then shake yourself, and
Mhm.
move on.
Yeah.
That's just my take on that.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
agree.
I understand what you're saying. I'm,
Yeah.
I'm, under, I'm understanding what Delia is saying because when in my life where I had to learn how to cope and learn how not to spiral into depression, you have to accept that this is a bad situation and give yourself time to grieve. You should not go into this downward spiral of going past the grieving point. So, like, if you give yourself 2 days to grieve, why are you grieving about it for the next week? Or you need to be able to move on from this and say this is the silver lining. Let's take the next step. And just that little coaching, just what Delia said, is how you coach yourself to get out of sadness so it don't spiral into something that is deeper. And you are now able to appreciate the bad or not so good thing that happened, see the silver lining, move on and say, I need to be happy. Happiness comes from the inside. Let's move on.
And
Yeah.
my biggest tip would be, do not listen to sad music.
And yeah, don't. That is so true.
There are great, benefits of living a happy life. I must say, there are so many tremendous blessings and benefits in living a happy life. One of the things that you find when you try to create a happy environment, a happy life, is that you live longer. You
Right,
recover from illness faster. That's one of the benefits of being healthy,
right.
of being happy, sorry. You're more energetic. You have a little more energy than somebody who is constantly down or so, they lack energy. So one of the benefits about being happy is having more energy. The ability to remain calm. Like I know you spoke about situations be happening around you and you're just calm. You're extreme, and I must tell you, because I am kind of like Delia, I realize, and you're all talking, I realize I'm more like Delia. I don't take too long to get over a situation. I bounce back very quickly, but I need to identify and deal with it. I can't just say, this happened, move on. No, I need to acknowledge it happened and then move on from there. But another benefit of happiness is you have less stress in your life. And another benefit is you're able to achieve your goals. Because if you're down, if you're suffering from depression, or you're constantly down or unhappy, a lot of energy is taken away from you doing the best that you can do to create a better life or better space for yourself. And happy people kind of earn more money because they have more productive hours. So that's another great benefit of being happy. So as we close off 2020, we should all aspire to create a happy life. Doesn't mean that situations wouldn't come up, we wouldn't be down at times. That is life. Dealing with real issues. But when we confront situations, we move on as quickly as we can and be aware that happiness creates really good energy.
All right, that sounds amazing. That's a great way to end the program today, because yeah, and an ode to my dear beloved mother, who would have been, I think, 75, 76 years old today, and when we're taping,
Oh wow.
happiest man alive. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So we all want to be the happiest woman alive,
Yeah.
actively deciding to be happy.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
The happiest people alive. Somebody say, oh, 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 oh.